Hi guys, welcome back to the San Ildefonso build. In this video I'm going to talk a little bit about the planking, because I was specifically asked about this yesterday, and if I remember rightly it was to do with the caulking as well. So I'll give you a quick rundown of how we're doing this. Then apologise for my video skills, I'm not brilliant at it, but we'll give it a go. Now, the planks for this build are 400mm in length. Each plank is 3mm wide. So, but we don't want obviously 400mm. So what we're doing is I want roughly 200mm. Well, not roughly, I want 200mm. So this big pile of planks you see here, we're going to cut directly in half. Okay, so basically you're doubling that amount. Okay, so using your cutting board and obviously a very sharp knife, hobby knife. Okay, we're going to line these up. Now, unfortunately, I haven't got a lot of space here to set the camera up, but basically what I'm doing, you can see the end here. So basically I'm lining one end of the plank up at 0, and obviously if you look, it comes all the way up here to 400mm, or 40 centimetres, okay, which is 400mm, and then all the way down to 20, which is 200mm, 20 centimetres. We are literally, very gently, cutting in half. Okay, so you have 2 planks. Okay, and then we're just going to keep repeating this process so that we've got a nice amount to work with. There's no point doing like 1 or 2 and then going forward from that point, because you're just going back on yourself all the time. So you want to make sure that give yourself enough to be able to do a good job, you know. Don't go silly and do too much, but just enough so that you can crack on really well with the planking when you get round to it. Okay, but this is basically what you're doing. So you're lining up the planks onto the cutting board, or any other method you use to measure. Okay, but it's basically 400mm of the planks. We're cutting them in half, so basically we'll be left with 200mm. Okay, 200mm planks, like so. Okay, and then obviously just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, so you've got yourself a nice amount to work with. Okay, once you have enough, then what we're going to start doing is obviously laying the planking. First things first will be the caulking effects, which I will show you next. So yeah, stay tuned, and I'll show you that part in a second. Alright, cheers guys. Alright guys, welcome back. If you've reached this part, then obviously you should have already done your planks like we have here. Okay, so in the first part of this video, obviously I showed 400mm planks. We're cutting them in half to 200mm. Okay, and that will give you all your planking. Okay, now when we lay these planks, if I just get, here we go. Okay, what we want to simulate on this deck is the caulking. Now, on the real ships, you'll have the planks, and then you'll have something between the planks, either rope. I think it's completely different now in the modern day ships, which is called the caulking, which is basically waterproofing between the planks. I'm not too clued up on that. process, so bear with me if I didn't get that dead right, but it's something along those lines. Now, the decks on the San Ildefonso are really light, a really nice deck. Obviously I'm going to be staining these. I've tested both the oak and the pine stain, and they're all so nice that at the moment I am completely stuck as to which one I'm going to use. I'm a little bit more leaning towards the oak. I'm going to have to think on that for a little while, but it's going to look stunning when it's all done. Anyway, back to what we're doing. So by now you should already have all your planks, which are all cut to length. Okay, so again, 400mm is what's supplied. Cut them in half will give you 200mm. Now, I was asked yesterday to show how we do this, and basically what I can it's not actually called this, but because a friend of mine showed me how to do this, I've always called this the bony technique. There's absolutely no relevance really to what we're doing, but basically all we're going to do is we're going to simulate the caulking, okay, of the decking. And basically all we do is we get a pencil, okay, doesn't have to be any specific type of pencil, you know, just a pencil. I tend to use, I did have it here the other day, I don't know what I've done with it, so I'm having to use this one for a minute. I use normal carpentry pencils that you get off eBay, cheapest chips. Now all we're doing is give yourself, using the knife, you know, give yourself plenty of lead, okay, free. Okay, and we're just going to grab hold of the plank, and all the way around the edge of that plank, okay, we are literally, I'm hoping you can see this, I'm going to try and do it, and all we're going to do is we're literally, can you see that? Okay, and we're literally going to coat the outer edge, okay. It's a little bit more awkward when you get right to the end, but get it right up to the tip. There we go. Do the other side. And we're literally going to coat the whole edge of this plank all the way around with lead, okay, with the pencil. Now, at the moment, it doesn't look like much is being achieved really, apart from you making the edge of the plank and etc. dark. But what will happen is, as you start laying the plank in, as you butt each plank up to the next, okay, this black line is all the way around now. Make sure you do the ends as well, okay, so literally all the way around. And this is done with every single plank, okay. So basically, when you start laying the plank in, you start butting each one up to the next, and so forth. I don't know if you can see this here. When you butt it up, you'll start to get a nice dark, can you see that? A nice dark line. And this is basically simulating the caulking that you would see on a real ship. Now, two ways I usually work with this. If, for example, I was working with quite a dark decking, let's just say walnut for the time being, I'd probably use a permanent marker, black permanent marker, because it's darker. Okay, so you know, if you use a pencil, you'll find that, you know, maybe on walnut, it won't show up quite as much as it would do here. So I'd use a darker method, which is usually a permanent marker. But on this lighter one, you'll find, you might like it. For me personally, I find that a permanent marker on this sort of decking, it's way too dark. It's too dark, so it will stand. Because what you want to do, you want to be able to look at your deck and just see a beautiful deck. You want to be able to see the caulking, but you don't want it so that it instantly jumps out at you and takes your eye away from the entire picture. You know, if it's too dark, the only thing you'll see, first off, is lots of lines. You'll just see all the caulking, which is just instantly taking your eye away from the whole deck altogether. You know, you want to be able to look at it, see all the deck and the caulking, but it all sort of just looks like one. If that, I'm hoping I'm making sense. If not, then I'll do it. Do excuse me. But yeah, that's basically what we're doing. Okay, so what I usually do, I know some people will lay the glue down, pencil around the out of the plank, lay the plank, and then repeat the process. What I like to do is I like to prepare plenty of 200mm planks. Then I spend some time penciling every single one of them. Okay, I don't do them one at a time, lay it and then do it again. I literally do them all. Okay, once I've got a whole bundle of 200mm planks that have already been penciled all the way around, then I can focus on just laying the planks. Okay, I haven't got to keep stopping, doing it again, stopping, doing it again. I can just crack on. Okay, chances are I'm going to run out of planks, so once I've finished with the whole set of planks that I've already done, I'll stop the process, I'll go back, start cutting some more planks, then I'll pencil all those, and then I'll carry on laying planks. Okay, but that's basically all we're doing. So just a nice normal pencil, penciling just the edge. Okay, try not to, don't panic if you slip and it goes straight across the top of the plank. Okay, don't worry about it, because once you've laid all these planks down anyway, you're going to be sanding back, because you're going to have glue all over it and all sorts. So this is all going to need sanding anyway. So if you do get a bit of lead on it, I mean, try not to get too much, because it just makes extra work for yourself. But just, you know, don't panic. If you slip and it goes across, don't worry about it, because you've got to sand these anyway. So, and trust me, it doesn't take a lot of sanding just to rub a bit of pencil off. You know, I mean, if you've got a rubber, that'll work, that'll take it off, but you know, don't panic, it's got to be sanded. So there you go, you're penciling all the way around. Okay, and then in the next bit of the clip, the next bit of the video, I'll start laying the planks, and you'll start to see the effects come into play. This is the bit that I did yesterday. Okay, once I didn't concentrate on the rest of this deck, just this small bit here. The reason being is I wanted to have this perfectly straight, and now that this is set, I've got a really good benchmark of decking that I can now just butt up to and just keep going. Okay, this is this is the foundation of my decking. Okay, this is perfectly straight with that the deck. So now it's set, it can't move. So now all I've got to do is just literally keep laying the decking down, button up against it. Okay, I've got a really good base to start with, and just keep going. You know, so yeah, next bit will be laying the planks, and you'll start to see it coming together. But this is what I've done. This bit here, if you look, hasn't even been sanded. This is just raw. Whereas, I'll try and let you see it. This bit here, okay, has been sanded, and if you look, you can see a really nice light, smooth deck, and you can see the nice dark lines in between the decks. Okay, that's the caulking. Not too dark, but perfectly visible. Obviously this lot up here still needs sanding. It's just that little bit there I've done just to show you an example. Alright, but anyway, next bit is the planking, so stay tuned. Cheers guys. Hi guys, and welcome back. In the first part of the video, obviously we showed you how to first prepare your planks, very quickly going backwards. It's you know, supplied as 400mm, cutting into 200mm. Then once you've got enough of our planks, obviously then we're penciling all around the outside of it to simulate the caulking. Okay, and now we're going to lay a plank. I'm going to show you how this is all done just very quickly. I'm just going to very quickly just remove some of these little lumpy bits of glue off that deck from where I worked yesterday. obviously where it all dried yesterday, it's just left a little bit. So I don't want anything hindering the planks. So there we go, that's nice and smooth. There we go. Right. This is quite a nice little tool. This was supplied in the tool pack by Okray. Little sanding block. Really handy. It's a little bit too small to do the big areas. For that I've got other sanding blocks. But for small areas like this, that's ideal. Brilliant little gadget that is. Right, anyway, so that's nice and smooth. Okay, so now we can start laying the planking. Now, I'm using Jarvis aliphatic resin wood glue. Once this stuff's dry, it's not coming off. So yeah, this is brilliant. So anyway, right, there we need some concentrating at the same time here. So yeah, we've cut our planks to the right length, which is 200mm for the San Ildefonso. I mean, you might want different, but that's ideal because what you're actually doing then is instead of messing about with odd lengths, you're literally cutting the planks that are supplied in half. So potentially doubling the amount of planks you actually are supplied with. And you're going to need them because it's a lot. These are big decks and you've got 2 of them to do on this. Now, we've cut everything to length. Now obviously we're going to start laying, because I've done a small amount, what I call the foundation of my planking yesterday. These decks are in 2 halves, so obviously I'll repeat the same process on the other half when I get around to doing that. But basically I got it perfectly straight, which was the first line of decks, and I've done 6 lengths of decking on here, okay, and then just allowed it to set. It cannot move now, it's rock solid. So this is my foundation to enable me to start like just going. I can just lay planks now and just keep butting up. Okay, keep butting the planks up to the previous plank. They're not going to go anywhere, so I haven't got to worry about any of this lot, this bit here slipping off or moving because it's dead set. Okay, the only thing you've got to worry about is making sure that one, you have cut these properly, because if you don't, okay, and you start mucking up on the cuts, the end of your planks aren't going to meet up with the previous planks. And I'll show you what I mean by that, because what I'm doing here is you're laying one plank, the next plank is offset, and then the next plank is back again, the next one is offset, the next one back again. Yeah, does that make sense? And the way I'm doing that on this one is the second plank is roughly halfway along the previous plank, and then the next plank will go back to the first plank, and then the next plank will be halfway along, and then the next plank will go back to the beginning. Yeah, so you're getting a nice staggered deck. But anyway, so yeah, because what that will do then is as you go along the deck widthways, you're going to see, I don't know if you can see that actually, I'll try and get you to have a look. Bear with me. You're going to see this line here, see these lines here, where every other deck, the beginning of the deck meets up. So what you're going to have is a line that goes all the way, and you want that as best as you can to be perfectly straight all the way, the whole width of the deck. Okay, so as long as you've got them cut properly, dead on 200mm, and you stagger them properly and make sure that each plank, sorry, meets up with the previous, the previous one, it should all match. So anyway, everything's been prepared. I've got all of my planks. They've all been leaded. Okay, so we've done pencil all around the outside. Now it's time to line. Wait to lay the planks. So basically, all we're doing, if you're using what I'm using here, it's really important that when you cut the hole at the top, make it a small hole, not a big hole. You want a little bit to come out, not too much, otherwise you'll end up with glue everywhere. Bearing in mind though that you're going to get excess glue, and that's not a bad thing. I use that. When I've got the excess glue, all I do is I smear that on top of the decks that I'm doing. Okay, filling it. I'm using this to fill in all the gaps. Okay, so that when you sand down afterwards, you've literally got no gaps. You've just got beautiful smooth deck that shows the caulking, but no gaps. But anyway, so we're going to start. The first X is about here. Okay, making sure it lines up perfectly well. And we're just going to run a small line along. Lining the deck, the plank up to where you want it. Pushing the plank up against, nice and tight up against the ones that I've already done, the foundation. Okay, and you're going to get some of the glue squirting up in between the planks. That's great. Just using your finger, wipe it along the length of the plank. And then what you're doing is you're just going to literally fill in. It's just going to go into the gaps, okay? And it's going to give you a perfect. There you go, and butt up against it. Now, if this was the first planks, the first few I've done, you know what I call my foundation, these would have been clamped and left to set. But at this point here, you don't need to clamp them, okay? Once you've got this where you want it and you've pushed it in, it's not going to come up, it's not going to come away, okay? It's stuck, that's not coming up. So you don't need to put a clamp on it to hold it down and squidge it down, that's going nowhere, okay? If you're on a different part of the ship, wherever, then obviously yes, you would clamp it, for example, or pin it, you know, etc. But on here it's perfectly flat, it's not going nowhere, okay? You know, the previous ones were clamped so that they were allowed to set overnight to give me a good foundation to just butt up against it, but now it's yeah, not going anywhere. So now I've laid the first one, and I don't know if you can see it. Here we are, and that is in perfect line with the others. Do you see them? Yeah, perfect line. Okay. Once we've done that one, we're going to do the second one. So a nice line. And if you look, you're not going to be able to see that, I don't think. It's literally a tiny little white bead, tiny. You don't need a lot. As you butt up against the previous planks and push down, it's just going to completely cover the whole plank. And then obviously pushing that up to the plank you've just done. Don't push too hard, because obviously if you push too hard, you're going to make this one slide off, the one you've already done. If you're worried about that, then obviously you can clamp it if you want to stop it from moving, but all you've got to do is slide it up, and that's it. Okay. Butt up to the ones you've already done, the previous ones, the foundation, so it's nice and tight. And then the excess that's squidged out between the planks, just slide your finger over the top, okay, So you're literally filling the gaps. Okay, get that off. There we go. Okay. So that's 2 done. Okay, now we're going to do the next one. Now when you get to this point here, you're going to find that when you get towards the end, you're going to find, well, you'll see what's going to happen now in a minute, bear with me. As I butt this one up here, okay, at either end of the decks you're going to start finding, because you're staggering, one's missing, you see, so just got to make sure you just fill that in with the next one. So obviously in between those two, just fill that in. There we go. So nice. But up to the one previous, sliding your finger over, filling up all the gaps with the glue. Okay, you want everything filled. There you go. Now I'm using blue gloves because this can get rather messy. Excuse me. Okay, this can get rather messy. And that's basically the whole process that I'm doing. Okay, you know, you're wiping all the excess glue, whatever excess glue you've got, make sure it goes over the planks, okay, and use it to fill in any gaps that there are. Okay, if you see a couple of extra ones that you're not happy with, just get a little bit of glue, okay, and use it to fill in. Now, you've got to rub all this down anyway, so what will happen when you start sanding, you will very quickly go through the dry glue to the deck, leaving only the glue that's gone into any gaps that there are. Okay, so it doesn't take a lot to actually go through, you know, take off what you're doing here, but what it will do is it will just make sure there's no pockets in the decks and gaps, so that when you do sand, you'll be left with that nice smooth deck and the caulking like I showed you earlier at the beginning of the video. There we go. So then once you've done that, there you go. See that? Okay. And then all you're going to do is basically, when that's all dry, you're just going to sand it all down. And when you sand it all down, you'll end up with that nice smooth deck. Okay. Where you've penciled all around it to simulate the caulking, that will really show up nicely. It really will. Obviously, if you're using a much darker wood for your decks, I would suggest maybe going for a marker, because it's a lot darker. And obviously, the darker the wood, the less the pencil's going to show up. But I like the nice light decks. They look better, I think. But anyway, that's the process, guys. I hope that explains the way that I produced the caulking by using the pencil. It's what I call the Boney technique. Okay, if you haven't seen his work, go have a look at my mate Tom's work at Royal Boney, all one word, Royal Boney. That's B-O-N-E-Y. Okay, Royal Boney. At the moment, he's making, I believe it's the hatchet hood, and what a piece of work that is. So yeah, go take a look, you won't be disappointed. This on the other hand, obviously, this is the 170 San Ildefonso by Okray. You haven't seen their work and the beautiful models they produce, and they are stunning. Simple, just go check out Okray Mania at Okray Mania on Instagram, and yeah, have a look. I believe there's even a completed San Ildefonso on there, I think, so you can get a rough idea what this will sort of look like towards the end. So yeah, go check them out, guys. But in the meantime, yeah, that is how I achieve, or how I'm going to achieve my decks, and also a nice simulated caulking in between. And then just like I say, just quickly running through it. The reason I do it like this, I prefer this method, is, you know, what you want to do is, when you're looking at your decks, you want to close your eyes, and then the minute you open your eyes, you see an amazing deck. You don't see one particular thing first. You want to see it all. You know, if your caulking's way too dark, as soon as you open your eyes and look, you won't see, oh wow, what a beautiful deck. You'll just see, wow, look at all the caulking. Oh, deck's nice as well. You know, if the caulking isn't dark enough, you won't see it at all. And then what you'll be left with then is no caulking. So that when you open your eyes, the only thing you'll see, literally, is just wood. So by getting it right and using a pencil on this nice light decking, when you open your eyes, you'll see it all. It'll all just one whole package. An amazing deck. You don't want to see one or the other first. You want to see it all as one. So I hope that explains it. Yeah. And again, I apologise for my lack of video skills, but hopefully that's helped. If you've got anything else you want to know, give us a shout on Instagram, and I'll try and do another video for you. But in the meantime, I'm going to leave you guys, and I'm going to crack on with my decking. So have a good day, and I'll speak to you later on. All right, cheers guys.